Ahoy, matey. You're the new cabin boy, ain't you? You're fresh. You haven't heard the tales of the sea. Come closer, sit down. I don't bite. There was a time where the oceans were the most dangerous places on Earth. 'Twasn't because of sea monsters, oh no. It was because pirates had made it our home. A former sailor in the British Royal Navy, he was the one who stood out among all the other pirates. He sailed the Caribbean better than anyone I'd ever known, and he was just a wee lad. Edward Teach was his name, most commonly known as Blackbeard. After the Spanish War ended, the British Royal Navy didn't need a man of his talents, and so he became a pirate, and soon the captain of his own ship, the Queen Anne's Revenge. And this marked the beginning of the tale of the most famous pirate captain to ever roam the seven seas. He sailed all over the New World, pillaging and robbing every ship he saw, and he sold it in town with great skill. One summer morning, he came across a ship which he knew had great plunder aboard. Blackbeard and his crew snuck up to the ship, and before it was too late, they raised their pirate flag and began pursuit. The merchant ship went full sail towards a cove, but luckily, the great Blackbeard had planned for this. He knew it like the back of his hand. It was a trap. Little by little he gave chase, peppering cannon fire in their direction, at first trapping them, oh aye, but he crippled them with one final blow to their mast. They couldn't go anywhere. They were stuck. When the two great ships be side by side, Blackbeard turned to his men and shouted, "All aboard, you scallywags!" All of Blackbeard's crew were aboard, and the unfair battle began. Blackbeard soon joined them with his size and strength of 3 men and his dark as coal beard. He struck fear into the defenseless and unarmed crew of that merchant ship. Blackbeard was so cunning and conniving, thanks to this trick, he became talk of the town over all 7 seas. He put slow-burning cannon fuses on the side of his face, and when he faced his enemies, you could only see the fiery eyes and a cloud of smoke. Faced by the only true monster of the 7 seas, the merchant ship laid down their arms and surrendered, hoping that they'd be spared. After that day, his reputation only grew and grew. Some say he drank gunpowder. Even governments were feared of him. Oh aye, they were. They made deals and cut bargains with him. They wouldn't hunt him if he didn't hunt them. Some even struck a bargain with him, a share of the loot. Others did not. One day he ran into a Royal Navy ship. That ship fired upon them with no quarter. He responded in kind. It rained gunpowder and iron on that ship that day. They took their tails between their legs and they fled for their lives. Blackbeard could have sunk them in a quick second, but he decided to let them go. Not to spare them, no, but to spread the word, the rumor, that Blackbeard was not to be trifled with, that Blackbeard will not show mercy. The crew hurled insults at the cowards for running away, but after that day, the trials and tribulations of Blackbeard only grew. The life of a pirate is fierce, days on end, out at sea. The madness, very little food, scurvy, the battles, but the sea. The sea is the worst part about it. Blackbeard discovered a terrible truth about his crew. They'd all fallen ill due to lack of medicines. He could not buy them, and they were nowhere to be found to be stolen. And so he mustered up all the courage he could, all the ships at his command, and he headed to Charleston. He blocked the port and kidnapped some noblemen and kept them hostage in exchange for curing his men. In order to save their people, the leaders had to make the deal. But they never forgave him, and this was the beginning of the end for the infamous pirate, Blackbeard. They spied on him for months on end, looking for any sign of weakness, any slip-ups, any mistakes. One day, Blackbeard made a mistake. He alone with a very small crew. They were in a poor condition after a night on the town. They were approached by two ships of the line, two royal military ships bearing down on him and his tiny crew. Blackbeard tried to escape, knowing that he wouldn't win this fight, and so he went into canals around the city. But his ship ran aground. He was beached. He had no more options other than to fight man to man. So he took up his guns, readied his men, drew their swords, and he lit the fuses in his beard for one final fight. Fighting tooth and nail, it was 1-5. Blackbeard's crew severely outnumbered, but not disheartened, oh no. They even succeeded in sinking one of the ships. But when it came to the last one, they were tired. They were starting to fall, until it was just Blackbeard and the enemy captain. The two captains clashed their swords together like demons on the deck of the ship. But it was too much for Blackbeard. The other captain had the rest of his crew, and it was just him. He went down unceremoniously, 1-20. It may have been the end to him, but it was only the beginning of his legend. How do I know this story, do you ask? How much fine detail I prescribe? Well, maybe that's a tale for another time.